And we're live.
Hello.
Oh, we've already got our first comment. Well done. I'm glad that you caught that there. I was like, oh, who's there? Well, shall we start with introductions, Margaret? Tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi. For anyone who is watching, I'm Margaret Pinard. I have a booktube/authortube channel, and I guess like to get shit done and read instead, because those are the sayings behind me. So why not endorse them? Yeah, I'm a historical fiction writer, and I am drafting this month. So I did get a small session in this morning, but I need 2 more to finish. But that's not what we're going to be doing for this hour, because Katja's got a different sort of project for us, which I'm excited to take a turn at.
Yeah. So later, we're going to be doing the Pomodoro, which I've done on my own before, but I've never done the live sessions of just, focus time to do the stuff that you want to do, some creative things. What is that? I can't see it.
So my journal for the moment is a really thin one. It's my bedside one, and I've stuck stickers on it so I know which direction it is, because otherwise you can't tell. And this is like a geometric pattern, but this is definitely chocolate.
Nice. So are you doing journaling today?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. That's cool. So we've got 2 people watching at the moment, which is super. Welcome. So a bit about myself, in case anyone's new: Page Turners with Katja, booktube specifically, but I thought we'll change things up with having these weekly sessions on a Wednesday, where we can also, just dive into whatever we want to creatively. So I am actually going to be journaling as well, and it is a journal that I've shared before, so it's the nostalgia. It's not as cool as yours. It's just like plain black, very minimalist.
Yeah. Nice.
And and I have found that I've actually, if I set time aside in this way, then I am surprised by how much I can get done. And I managed to do over 30,000 words between last Thursday.
What?
Yeah, and yesterday. So Sunday I did a lot of writing. I did get very enthusiastic, and I told my writing group, I think I told you about this very long running writing group, about my success, because I had writer's block. And I shared my first 3 chapters with them, and then I read it back and I was like, well, it's impressive for having done it in that amount of time. But now that I'm reading it, there's a lot of, corrections I could make. But you know what? I just sort of like bashed out the story.
Different skills.
And the editing now needs to happen, which I absolutely hate. I don't like editing.
Are you finished with the story?
I did. It's a novella.
Okay.
I know. It's got a start, a middle, and an end. And I think the reason I was able to do that is because I've got these folders of over 17 years worth of snippets of short stories, characters, and whatever that are all like half finished. And I was like, you know what? I've got an idea for this character and this setting, and I've got these different snippets so I managed to pull it all together. So there's a start, a middle, and end, a novella that I've written in less than a week, which I've never done that before.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, I was happy with that. So I don't know if anyone who's watching wants to share what they're going to be doing during our focus session. But both Margaret and I have gone for journaling. It was a toss-up for me, because I was kind of thinking maybe I'll read The Kobe Hotel. And I have to say, this has actually improved for me, because initially the foreword by the translator, who, by the way, won the not Akutagawa. Oh, now I'm going to go blank. It's the Japanese translation prize that I've had on my booktube channel so many times. I've gone blank. I'll have to find it and share it later. But they won the prize for translating this. And you can tell how passionate they are about this person. So it is the first time I'm reading a Japanese translation that is not like fiction. It is based on a person, and it's the experience of this poet during the Second World War. And he was very much an anti-war person. So he got flagged by secret police and everything and put in this Kobe hotel with a bunch of other sort of like politically flagged people. So he's got Russians, Germans, people from all over the globe who are sort of like stuck during the
What
Second
a book
World
to be
War
reading
in
right now.
Kobe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating. But I thought, you know what? I'm not going to read. I'm going to do some journaling, get my thoughts straight.
Yeah.
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 And I'll. And with your journaling, are you journaling just to get your thoughts straight too, or are you thinking about your work in progress for writing? Any writing projects you want to share with us?
Yes, both. So, hey, Beth Ann.
Yeah.
So yeah, you had a great productivity discussion within your live stream yesterday, and I am reading this for a slow read along. Have you read How to Do Nothing by Jenny Odell?
No, but I saw your post and it sounds amazing. Tell us.
Yes. Okay. So this book is by someone who is a studio artist and a teacher. And around 2019, she started to think, why is this not working for me? Something about the world is wrong, or me. And so let's find out. And then the pandemic happened, and so she had a lot of time to find out. And it's about resisting the attention economy. And so your question about if we're going to be productive for a stream, what is the point of the productivity? What are we producing? Who are we productive for? And I just really like that. So I'm rereading it with Grace at Books and Cooks, and already just the introduction. March is just the introduction. It's a very slow read along. She had a line that was about like, when did we get above nature and have to conquer it kind of feeling. And I was just having this conversation with Chris over on TikTok, who's been on my channel before to talk about climate. And he was like, when did this start? And I had an idea. He had an idea. It was like going back through history. So we really have to like fight to keep a handle on our thoughts in these days. And so that's what I'm giving myself for this hour. Katja, thank you.
Yeah, that sounds good. So this hour has got the 10 minutes introduction where we can all just catch up. And do you know what? That goes really fast because we're already at 8 minutes past. And then we're just going to have like 40 minutes of like time to ourselves, do whatever you want, get the crochet needles out, or like Beth Ann, do your PowerPoint presentation graphics. Absolutely. Why not? That counts as creative as well. Yeah, that sounds good. And because I'm self-conscious about it, I shouldn't bother. But yeah, in case anyone sees any redness in my eye, my blood vessel in my eye is popped in the right. So if you catch a flash, you're not imagining anything, but it's nothing serious.
For which we are glad. Yes.
Exactly. So what I'm going to do is I'll share on screen a Pomodoro timer, and then we can, grab our coffees, teas, something calming, get your journal out, get your knitting out, and we'll see each other again after 40 minutes and just catch up on how we got on with what we wanted to set time aside to do. So let's share that there. And well, I'm a little bit early, but not too early. So there we go.
Go ahead. All right, I'll mute. Wow. That scared me and I was already looking.
I might need to I might need to look at different noises that it makes when it ends.
Yeah.
Other options, like something nice and gentle, probably.
Yeah.
But I just left it on the default. But yeah, how did you find that, Margaret?
I haven't done morning pages in a long time, so that was a little lumpy, let's say, in terms of being able to focus, especially in the middle of the day.
Do you know, I've never gotten through the whole book of The Artist's Way. Do you just sort of like do the practice of the morning pages, or have you done the full course of The Artist's Way?
I don't remember. I don't think I did all of the exercises. I think I have done morning pages several different times in my life, and it's stuck for like a year or ish. But I tend to sort of cycle on and cycle off of things. So I don't think I've ever done all the other stuff in there, but that one I really liked for a long time. Yeah.
That's cool. So we've got quite a few. We've got Jude here, but not at home where my studio is. I would be painting digital art. Oh, that's lovely. Hi, Karen. And we've got Jack. Hello, all just finished work, so just saying hi. Planning on a morning of writing tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to, but too pooped now for anything but watching people be creative. Yeah, I don't blame you. Jack, are you doing the writing on your own, or are you also signed into London Writers Hour? I don't know. For a lot of people that I know, the actual hour is a little bit late because it's between 8 and 9. So you really have to have that flexibility that, you know, like on 9 on the dot, you're ready where you need to be for work and you can just switch. But otherwise, it's a really, really good hour to dial into. So I don't know. When you say you're going to be writing tomorrow in the morning, Jack, is that something like a joint thing like this session, or is it going to be a case of just on your own at a more suitable time? And there we go. I started The Artist's Way and didn't manage to finish. Yes, I think the morning pages is the thing that people always go back to. The only thing that I remember doing from that book, aside from morning pages, is taking myself out on an artist's date.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you like go. Yeah. It's okay to go out on your own and enjoy the things you enjoy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember doing that. I'll be just on my own, but I'm up earlier. If I'm up earlier, I may try that. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I haven't been consistently writing like first thing in the morning, but I definitely feel like I get a clearer way to sort of like write because your mind isn't already filled with things first thing in the morning.
Yeah. Although, you know, I suffer from that dreaded pick up the phone once your eyes open disease many mornings.
Oh yeah.
And even if I am doing that, often when I come to the living room and I put the kettle on and I get my granola and I sit in the chair, like the routine is there enough that I'll have all these new inputs, but I slide into the writing. The last couple of days, I had a really bad night of sleep. And so when I got up, I had to do things for other people right away. So then my writing was like fourth on the list. And then it was definitely not fresh, like
yeah.
from a stone. Yeah.
No, I can understand that. I mean, I'm not having it. I haven't had it actually in ages, but there was a time. I think it was a time when I used to have to do a lot of commuting, and like, you know, like my days just seemed to disappear. And at some point, I was so stressed that every evening was I didn't sleep well at all. And I experienced for the first time in my life. So this was in my 30s. I didn't have it in my 20s. I don't have it now in my 40s, but in my 30s, I had sleep paralysis. And it's a very strange experience because it's when you don't properly go into the REM sleep, your mind is sort of like so geared up, it doesn't slip into REM, but
Okay.
you're sort of caught between REM and wakefulness. So you end up having this horrible experience of your body shuts down as though you are in REM, but you're aware of it, and so you start trying to move, but you're like so disconnected. So it's called sleep paralysis because you feel like something is like holding you down and you can't wake up. So I'd very often like unlock myself by like waking up, and you'd be like throwing yourself almost out of bed after having been stuck.
Wow.
And I describe this to people, and they're like, some people are like, oh, I've had that before, it's just awful and stuff. Anyway, my mum lives with me now, and for the last 2 months, guess who's been having sleep paralysis? And she wakes up with this, like, whoa, because you suddenly have this sensation of getting free, so you sort of like scream out.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Well, some people don't. Some people don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. That sort of thing terrifies me. Yes, yeah, because I mean, like, I'm sure that. Well, it depends on whether you do have a feeling that there's ghostly happenings for real or not. But I can tell you that in my 30s, I was like, I don't believe in ghosts, but I can see where I might be convinced that there was some ghostly presence holding me down because it actually felt like a physical weight. Like, oh my goodness.
But you were asleep. Yeah, because I've been visiting my parents, and my dad's thrown himself out of the bed a couple times, and we all hear it, and we all wake up, and we're like, "What happened?" And we figured he had a nightmare or something. But it's like, I wonder if that's related, because he was doing that enough to like throw himself off the bed.
It could be because while you're in it, you actually have the sensation that you are physically moving and stuff, but you're actually extremely, extremely still until something reconnects and you suddenly.
Like the weight or whatever is removed, and all of a sudden you go very far. Like
like you get
Charlie Brown in the football.
I mean, I can laugh about it now, but it's horrible, isn't it? I mean, I don't know if anyone else there has had that sensation, but I don't wish it on anyone. And it tends to happen to people when they're going through quite a bit of, like, a lot of stress, or the culmination of insomnia because you just haven't caught up on all of your sleep cycles and stuff. So yeah, I can feel that. But this session I've actually found really good. The 40 minutes, like I looked up a couple of times. I was like, oh, we're running out of time. And I was like, no, we're not. This is fantastic. So I really, I enjoyed that. I'm glad I chose to journal rather than do something like, I don't know. I was thinking of doing the reading or the writing, but I think I'll have to get used to doing the reading part. I'll try the reading next week and see if I can, like relax into reading while sort of like knowing that it's, I don't know how to describe it. I've never done a timed sort of reading. So I want to see how that goes next week. I've done timed writing, and I'm sort of glad I didn't do that typing writing because that is something I do in the mornings. And I don't know, right now it's 8 in the evening, and I kind of feel like this has emptied out my mind. I've just gotten some thoughts down about stuff to do tomorrow, and then it's not in my head now that, like, oh, I have to remember to do this tomorrow because it's waiting here. It's on paper, so I can refer back to it. And that made me think, just recently, we both commented on Deb's channel, Raina Reads. And she had said, now that I've listed out all of the different events I'm doing, it's really daunting and kind of, it's stressful to look at. And I was like, yeah, me too. When I don't think about all of the books that I'm planning to read, and I just go ahead and do it. But then when I list it out, I'm like, what am I thinking doing all of those? And then it feels a bit daunting. But you have a point as well, because you said, I don't feel that way. You commented, you said, yeah.
Because I always feel that there's more that I'm not seeing. But when I can see it all at once, I go, okay, that's it. Whereas when I'm just like doubting myself, I think there's always going to be more. So I'm always worried about like something coming out of left field. It's the unknown. It's the fear of the unknown.
Yeah. And that's sort of how I feel about, having listed stuff out that I want to do tomorrow, because I've kind of like gotten everything out of my head. It's there waiting.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm glad to have done that. And I'm really glad, people managed to join us today. We're going to do this again next week. The idea is that we will always have someone from BookTube, AuthorTube for the first 10 minutes, and anyone who can join in the chat, and we'll just have a quick catch up before we actually do our, set time to do whatever we want, because it's really difficult to focus on stuff you want to do sometimes. You'd sort of like push it to the side and don't give it as much importance.
Yeah, I haven't journaled almost a week because I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I gotta get my words in. I gotta work on the novel draft. So
yeah, how is that going?
Pretty good. I'm at like 33,000. So I've been working all month and got to the same place that Katja did.
I have never done that before, but like I said to you, I shared like the first 2.5 chapters, like prologue and chapter 1 and 2, possibly a bit of chapter 3. But anyway, I shared some of that with my writing group, and then I read it afterwards, and I was like, well, do you know what? For something I wrote within a week, I think it's good. But if I had given myself a month to write this and then I sent that off, I would really be like, oh, Katja, look at all of these, like it's kind of like using a lot of words that you could, strike out and improve on. So there's a lot of editing for me to do. Plus, when I was looking at chapter 1, I was like, the sensory input over here really is contradicting the previous bit that I said about this environment. So
yeah.
So
what is kicking my tail is that I didn't decide on the seasons. Like I didn't have a seasonal thing. And so every description where I'm trying to bring in the mood or the weather or like sensory things, I'm like, is it raining? I don't know, Margaret. You didn't decide this in advance, so we don't know. So I'll just put a few words and be like, it could be this or it could be that. It's really annoying me.
And I'm glad you said that, because the other thought I had was, I'm really glad I only sent the start to my writing group, because I started it off with like a really spring-like environment with a bit of a sea breeze coming in. But when I ended it, which is only supposed to be within a week, I'm like, I've got them crunching on ice and, like under their boots. And I'm like, I think that might have to be longer than a week that's passed.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's funny.
Well, we're already at time, but thanks so much, everyone, for joining. And like I say, we'll be back next Wednesday. Margaret, I hope you can join for another Wednesday at some point. I know you're really busy because Wednesdays tend to be your lives as well. What have you got on next week?
Next Wednesday, I will be in a different location. I'm traveling down to California, and I'll have my Wednesday wrap up, which I do every other Wednesday. But I am planning to move it. Well, I was planning to move it later because I was going to the gym. But now that I'm going to not be in the location where the gym is, I may move it again. I don't know.
Okay. We'll keep an eye out.
Decision making. But yeah, every other Wednesday, there will be a Wednesday wrap up.
Okay, cool. So thanks so much for joining, and see you again next week, hopefully. Take care. Bye.
Bye.